Hey, guys, happy Thursday, which you know what that means. That's the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills Day. Guys, we're back to talk about more about Jay Edelson, who is one of the lawyers going after the Girardis, because now he's speaking out about how the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills has provided a lot of, I guess, information. We have all the details on that, but don't forget today we are going live with Dana Wilkie, $25,000 sunglasses, and Jason from Down with Jason at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time to break down the whole reunion, part one of Beverly Hills. Yeah, it's a whole unfiltered recap. That was a lot that happened last night. The whole Lisa Rinna Garcelle thing, that pissed me off. I mean, there was a lot happening. I felt so bad for Garcelle, but we'll jump into all of that, of course, because we need to have an opinionated conversation. And I'm sure we won't all agree on the same things. We better all agree on the Garcelle thing because Lisa Rinna was wrong. But okay, we have all the details on this Jay Edelson stuff, so let's jump right in. And before we do, if you guys haven't already, go ahead, smash that like button. If you're not subscribed, get subscribed. And don't forget to hit that notification bell because, well, you don't want to miss anything we have coming up. Now with that, let's jump right in.
It's time for all your binge-worthy pop culture news. Welcome to Up and Adam.
All right, guys, so it looks like lawyer Jay Edelson has said that Real Housewives of Beverly Hills has provided a lot of evidence against Erika, and under oath, you've got to tell the truth. Now, we know there's a team of lawyers, trustees. A lot of people are trying to gather evidence against the Girardis at this moment to figure out where money went, how they spent it, how they're going to get it back, and most importantly, how they're going to pay the victims, the widows, the orphans, burn victims, plane crash victims. I mean, this is terrible. So now their job is to figure out how do we get this money back, especially when one side of the Girardis, Erika, she's saying, I didn't know anything about what Tom was doing. The only person who knows is Tom. Her defense team is still maintaining that she had no knowledge of anything that was going on. Whereas Tom Girardi, when Page Six caught up with him, he said, I think she does. That's a lot, but here's what's being said. Jay Edelson went on Reality Life with Kate Casey on her podcast, and we've had Kate Casey on our show before, and we've been on her podcast. She's amazing. She's straight to the point, and she likes to ask the hard questions. So it's one thing that I love about her because it's not always easy to do that. But when she was talking to him, he said, client money is pretty sacred. So if you end up with client money and you are spending it, the argument, oh, I didn't know it was client money, that's an argument, but it's not the best argument. But we think we're going to be able to demonstrate that she knew a lot more than she's claiming. It keeps going. Jay also added, and honestly, this season of The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills has been painful to watch. Just because I'm watching it through the eyes of the victims, it's given us a lot of evidence. I'm wondering what evidence it's given them. Is it the car crash? Is it the being ejected and being left unconscious for 12 hours? Is it her son's car crash? Is it the burglary and having to get eye surgery? Is it the alleged mistresses? What is the evidence that Jay Edelson is talking about? Or is it something maybe we're not even thinking about? Could it be something behind the scenes, like maybe seeing her closet, seeing some of the jewelry that she's wearing? What exactly is the evidence that Jay Edelson is talking about? Well, again, it keeps going. Jay's firm, Edelson PC, filed a class action lawsuit against Erika and Tom, alleging that they embezzled clients' funds, millions of dollars of their settlement money intended for the victims of the families killed in a 2018 plane crash. Jay said, what we've claimed from the beginning is that this is a sham divorce, and she's claiming that it's not. This is what he told Kate Casey. She had a ridiculous story that she served him with papers and then was gone and then never spoke to him at all. So he's not buying this whole story. He doesn't buy that she filed for divorce on election day because she thought she was going to fly under the radar. He doesn't buy that this divorce is real and authentic. He feels like this is all a sham in order to keep the money that they have allegedly, well, Tom Girardi has allegedly embezzled. He's on this. He also said, but to the extent that she actually has been in communication with him, it's really fertile ground for us to find out. What is it that they were saying? Were the discussions about how they could further hide assets? And how much did she really know about all of this? Now, if there were discussions being had, then of course, Jay Edelson, Ronald Richards, the trustees will find out. I'm sure that they have the technology in order to do so, whether it's finding burner phones. And I'm not saying that these exist, but tracing text messages, tracing phone calls, whatever they need to do. If there were conversations that were had, I'm sure they will figure it out. But at the end of the day, can they figure out what exactly was said? That's my main question, because unless you put a wire on someone or tap their phone, how do you really know what the conversations are? And how can you incriminate someone without having that information? So I get what Jay Edelson is trying to do, and I applaud him for it, but I don't know if there's enough in order for him to do this. Really, I don't. I mean, I would be amazed. To Tom Girardi's conservatorship and his diagnosis of Alzheimer's and dementia, Jay Edelson said, in terms of his competency, which is something that he's doing a great job of selling at, you know, I have seen pictures and videos that the paparazzi have taken, and it's very different from the Tom who was calling me up on the phone, you know, fairly recently. So, you know, I'm not buying it, but the more she was speaking to him, the better it is for us. And the more she's going to have to account for all of that, and she will have to account for it under oath. That's the big thing. So pretty much when they get her under oath and they ask her the questions, what did you talk about with Tom Girardi? When did you talk to Tom Girardi? How many conversations did you have with Tom Girardi? Was it through text? Was it through phone calls? What phone numbers were you calling in? Once she's under oath, she has to answer everything truthfully. So she can't hold back any information, or else she could go to jail for this. You can't lie under oath. And I think that that's where Jay Edelson is hoping that they might have a big win here. Jay Edelson is also alleging that Erika is trying to help Tom by saying over and over again on the show that he was mentally incompetent for years. He said, I don't think Erika realizes that the more evidence there is that he was acting in an incompetent way and mentally wasn't there, the worse it is for her, he said. Because if she was taking a ton of money from them during that time and a lot of client money, it's going to help him because he's mentally incompetent. It will hurt her, because the question is, why were you doing this? He also added that one of the most interesting things that she said, which would probably be more interesting to the law firms than it would be to reality TV, is that she talks about how she spoke to lawyers at his firm saying that he wasn't mentally there. So now she's saying, I talked to the lawyers. I knew he wasn't mentally there. He didn't know he wasn't mentally there. And now Jay Edelson's looking at this like, okay, well, if he wasn't mentally there and the lawyers were aware of it, then why the hell was he able to continue to work on clients, work with clients, work on cases, and have access to this kind of money? Jay ended that off with, you know, we are so laser focused on this because I want to know who she spoke to, because at the end of the day, we're pursuing claims against his former colleagues, his former partners. And to the extent that they knew anything that he was doing, knew about any of this, or they were involved in, and to the extent that they claim he was mentally incompetent. So with that, it's going to put the blame, the responsibility pretty much on their shoulders, on the partners of Girardi Keese. Ending that off with, so it's going to be very interesting when we actually have them under oath, when we talk to Erika, when we talk to the former partners and ask them the question, when did you know that he was mentally incompetent? Because there's no good answer for any of them. All right, guys. Well, that's a lot going on. So I'm interested to see how Jay Edelson ends up managing this, but I'm sure this man is on a mission. He is trying to get the money back for the victims, like we said, and I believe that's exactly what he will end up doing. Again, great job to Kate Casey for another amazing interview. If you guys aren't watching her, listening to her, make sure you go follow her because she really brings it, and she's been in the game for a long time. I want to know what you guys think about this, and how do you feel about Jay Edelson saying that Real Housewives of Beverly Hills has provided a lot of evidence, and how he feels about putting her under oath? You guys have all of the comments, and sometimes you're unfiltered, and I'm all here for it. So go ahead, let me have it. And don't forget, today we're going live with Dana Wilkie and Jason at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time to talk about it all. That is a subscribers only live chat. So if you're not subscribed, get subscribed. That way you can join us for the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills recap, and also for Hot Messy Topics tonight at 6 p.m. Eastern. They're both subscribers only. You guys want to participate. They're unfiltered conversations. We love them. So just get subscribed, hit that notification bell, and don't forget to smash that like button. I love you guys. Happy Thursday, and I'll see you so very soon. Bye, guys.